Hey guys, it's Lindsey. I'm one of the Sibme moms, and I am here today to talk about the day of the week boxes that I do at my house for my son. Before I get started, I just want to say I hope everybody's doing well. You're happy and you're safe and you're healthy. And hey, I know that working from home with kids at home is not easy, but a lot of us are in this together. So let's just share and try to make it work. I was telling you about these day of the week boxes, and I do them for a couple of reasons. So my brain just cannot think of stuff on the fly sometimes, especially when I'm using my brain to work and to, be there for my kiddo. And I need to do any thinking or planning that I can do beforehand. I need to do it beforehand. So I try on Sundays to create these boxes. If I don't do it on Sundays, then I try to at least do it, the night before each day. But they're just boxes that I can grab for the day. And hey, these are some activities that I can do with my son throughout the day. So I might use them during that special morning time that I talked about, where, I try to really connect with my son during those very early toddler morning hours before the day gets started, to kind of connect before I launch into work mode. I also have talked a little bit about, you're in a meeting or something and you've tried to set your kiddo up with an independent activity, but that doesn't always work, and they might come to you and they might need you, and you still need to be in that meeting, but maybe you can have some activities already here at your side, so that if they want to come sit next to you, they can, but you've got some things to give them and keep them occupied while you're still doing that meeting, which is just super fun to do. But having a little box of things will help it and really make it more fun than make it dreadful. And then the other thing is just, hey, there are these little pockets of time where I do want to do some activities with my son one-on-one throughout the day. And if I waste that time searching for or planning those activities, then our little window is gone, and now I need to get back to my next work thing, So for all those reasons, I like to have these boxes. And so they're just these little boxes. I have, that might look backwards to you, but this one says Monday, and I have one for each day of the week. I have them stacked up in the pantry. So I'll just show you some of the things that are in today's box. So the first thing, toddlers love sorting. It can keep them very, very busy. Little objects to sort can keep them very busy. It's also great for their one-to-one correspondence, which is great for counting. So right now I work for Sibme, and I'm a mom of a preschooler. In another life, I was a kindergarten teacher, so that's why I'm talking about the value of sorting right now. But it's really good. It's a great cognitive skill that helps them to be able to sort of think about the world around them and how things are similar and different, and that will lead into lots of other concepts as they get into early elementary school. So sorting is a great activity for younger and older toddlers to do. So they will sort anything, and they love to do it, and sorting the same group of objects different ways is another way to up that skill. But this is just a bunch of pencil erasers that are different animals, and I think there's 5 or 6 different types of animals in here, and I just gave him some clear cups, and I just put them out there. And he's done this a lot, so I don't really need to give him much direction. And earlier this morning when he was doing this while I was in a meeting, he was sorting them into the cups, and then he was putting them back into a big pile, and then he was sorting them a different way, and then he was lining them up, and then he was making up stories. So it's sort of one of those open-ended things that can get extended as long as possible. Okay, here's another thing I gave him earlier today. This was just like a free prize from being good at the grocery store, I think. HEB, God love ya, gave my kids some squishy foam, and so that was in today's box, which was another good thing for him to entertain himself with while I was in a meeting. And then just a good old whiteboard and whiteboard markers. And again, he can just draw or scribble with this, or he can practice his name or letters or numbers or any of those kinds of things. I gave him a tissue to erase with, but it's also fun to give them a sock to erase with, and you put the sock on their hand, and then it's just like novel and different, right? So anytime you can add a novel piece to an old activity, it gives it new life. So a sock instead of an eraser will give this old activity new life. Or like if I got them different kinds of whiteboard markers, that would be new life. Or instead of a whiteboard, if we did a chalkboard, new life, same activity. So anyway, that's my kindergarten 2 cents about that. Something else, okay, it's not in here right now because we used this today after lunch. We played with this. It's just that kinetic sand. It's really fun. So that was in today's box. Another thing that he did today during a meeting was a friend gave us this for Christmas a couple of years ago. Thanks, Nicole. It's just, you just open it up like this, and there's a paintbrush, and then I gave them a cup of water, and then they can just like do some free art with this. And I'm not really good at doing art backwards, but anyway, it's fun, and then it dries, and then, you know how this works. But again, just something different to do. And if you want them to practice numbers or shapes or something on you, they can. But if you want to just let them, be little artists, then they can do that too. We did these little cards, so you match the picture with the word, and there's support because the backgrounds match. So we did this earlier. I think I got this at like the Target One spot at some point. We did one of these little things. This was in a, if you guys have ever heard of those Kiwi Crate subscriptions, they're really cool. Somebody gifted us one for my son's birthday, and this was a little matching activity in here. And so again, like if I showed him this every day, it would be so boring and he would want nothing to do with it. But every few weeks, like one time every few weeks, this comes into the rotation, and he's like, oh, excited about it. Like you can't do the same stuff every week, or it would not hold their attention. Again, you have to it has to be fresh. And I'm not saying like go out and, I'm not saying order a bunch of stuff, new stuff. If you look around your house, you have a lot of stuff. And it's just a matter of like pulling it in for that day. You probably have lots of coloring books and workbooks and things. And if you do the same one every day, it's not going to be exciting. So, I definitely have 5 of these, one for each day, but I've got actually a lot more than that, like coloring books. Man, there's just a lot of coloring books around here. So, we do different ones all the time, and it keeps them interesting. This is let me see if I can do this. This is a puzzle that he can do on his own, but it's pretty fun, and it fits in the box. So you can't see his face, but that's a little elephant. So that's in today's box. And this was from a Chick-fil-A kids meal, and it says tape games, and I don't really know what it is, but I'm pretty sure if I gave it, I think it's like that cute tape. I don't know, it's called washi tape or something. I'm pretty sure if I just gave him this tape, he would put it on this counter and be very happy with that, or on some paper or whatever. So I just threw this in here. So we used like half of those things during kind of a long meeting this morning, and then we did, something after lunch together, and there's still several things that we haven't done. So when he wakes up from nap, we can do those things. But again, it's like not having to think about it in the moment, like, oh, we need something to do, or like, oh, you're needing me, or you're wanting to be by me during this meeting. Like, what could I think of you to do? Like, I'm not good at thinking about that on the spot. So to have it beforehand is super handy. And then other things that I always have right with me is this stuff. So like markers and colored pencils and crayons, and my son is learning how to use kiddo scissors, and he's really into cutting stuff. I hope it doesn't extend to like hair and everything, which I know is very common. But right now, like, we're using cardstock because it's a little easier to cut than regular paper. But he just likes to cut a piece of this up into random shapes, and that takes a long time, y'all. So he will cut this whole paper into a bunch of random shapes, and then he wants to tape them together. And he makes some very free-form looking pieces of art that then he gives to me and his daddy, and it's super cute. But having all of this stuff right on hand, so if he wants to do that, then he can, and it's right here, and I don't have to get up and go like hunt stuff down. And I think the power of giving kids like some crayons and some blank paper is awesome. Like, a lot of times I just think they can get some expression out that way, and it's open-ended, and they can do what they want with it. And so I've always found it to be really handy to have that super accessible. And then my son is really into Etch-a-Sketch right now, and he'll work pretty hard and long at doing that. So I've got these right here. Like, if he were to wake up from his little nap right now and I'm still recording this, then I could, engage him right here with that. Anyway, I find these to be really useful. I'm sure there are lots of other ideas out there with how you kind of have stuff ready, sort of on the spot when you need it. I have tried sometimes to say, like, okay, I'm going to have like a literacy activity and a beginning math activity and something artistic and something, like, I've sort of tried to make sure that each bin has, at least one activity that falls under each of those categories. Right now, it's just kind of, it's a free-for-all, y'all. But that's kind of working for us too. And I find like I get in a rut with doing the same sort of structure. So, like, I might get inspired later to structure this a little bit differently, but right now this is what we're doing. But I'd love to hear like kind of what you're doing, or if you have activities or items to put in kind of to have on deck for each day that have been really engaging and helpful, engaging for your kiddo and helpful for you. So let us know what you're doing. Bye.